Hi, it's Will from Momentum Group. I am going to give you a look at the back end of our AI chat and knowledge base template. So buckle up. This is not for the faint-hearted. It is a little bit complex, so you probably need to be an intermediate or advanced Bubble user to follow on. But that's okay, because even if you are very new to Bubble, you can still use this template with very minimal customization. So don't stress. We can help you out with that. And even an hour or two of our time to get this set up is relatively affordable to get your own fully functioning AI chat style interface that's fully flexible, that's built on the OpenAI API. So let's have a little look around. So on the design tab, we do keep things really nicely organized in reusable elements and groups. And so we really believe in clean code or clean Bubble optimized elements. So this is very well organized. The index just has the auth page, and the index really just refers into the auth form here. Nothing too exciting there. Okay, next up we have the assistant page, and this is where most things are happening. So if we go down, you can see we have a number of pop-ups which are all reusables, and then we have our 3 different sections. So we've got our left side drawer, and this has our chats, this has our projects, this has the ability to filter, to work with the context, and also the settings menu at the bottom. So if you're an admin, you can see everything, and if you're a team member, you can just see your stuff in your profile. So that's relatively straightforward. There's a collapsed drawer, and then you can expand that out and you can see what's going on. You can have a look at the chats. You can have a look at the user wrapper down there. Okay, next up we have on the right side, we have the admin drawer. So in this app, admin users can update both the knowledge base and they can update the assistant settings. So let's have a look. So we've got the knowledge base wrapper here. And so you can see each of the articles in your knowledge base in repeating groups. And you can work with those. You can add, you can edit, you can delete. And that interfaces with the files and the vector store endpoints on the OpenAI API. And then we've got our wrapper settings. So you can set the GPT model, the name, description, and behavior instructions. So you can fully configure this to do what you want it to do. Okay, then in the middle, we've just got our chat where everything is happening. And so in the chat here, we've got the messages, we've got the, sorry about that. We've got the messages, the ability to type in a new message and to see what's going on. This uses streaming, so you can see the messages returning in real time as the API sends them back. And there's also some error state handling here. So that's the UI, which is relatively simple. But then I guess under the hood is where a lot of the magic happens. So just keep in mind that we've set this up with all of our standard styles. So this is a fully sort of industry standard design system with all of the usual font weights, color weights, and we've also got responsive parameters programmed in at a style level so that this will work on a mobile device nicely. And this also keeps the app really tidy. So we'll jump across. Let's have a look at the database. We do have a debug log, which is really, really helpful because we actually want to be able to debug any problems we might have. We've got our assistants. This is currently set up to only have one assistant, but it can handle sort of a multi-tenanted assistant approach in the future should you require that customization. We've got our chats and our chat messages. So this is where the chats really all work off the conversation in the OpenAI API, and the chat messages are a child data type to that parent conversation. We've got our departments. Now, again, departments are just a way of segmenting off the different documents. So you might have finance, you might have accounting, or You might have gold tier, silver tier, and you can give them more or less content. We're not currently using this document chunk, so that may not be there when you see this next, but we do have the documents. And so these documents, these link across to the file store on the OpenAI API. And they also store the file locally in the Bubble app file manager. Invites is just about handling invites to users. Logs is just seeing a view of, I guess, an audit log of people logging in and out. Projects, fairly self-explanatory, similar concept to ChatGPT projects. Tags, so these are the tags of chats that help us to navigate. And then, of course, the user table, which is how we manage users. Now, we do have an initialization flow for this app. So the first time you use it and there's no users, there's no assistants, we do actually set that up with a push of one button for you. So it's fairly easy to do, but there is a little bit of a process for some of the API stuff, which I'll go into now. So on the API connector, we have two APIs programmed. We create our own internal API, which references our own API key in the API tab on the settings here. So you can generate your own API key to call your own app. And we do that for a few things. I won't go into that now, but the interesting part is the OpenAI API. So I've got my key here, and then I've got these different endpoints. So all of these are working, and you can have a look and you can see how it's working. Now, these are currently at present referencing one particular vector store. So I've got some vector store endpoints here. And so we create this vector store and then we use that to retrieve data. Okay, we've also got the files endpoint. So we're using that. Files is just a storage, cloud storage on the OpenAI API. We've got our conversation endpoint. So this is that parent data type that holds the context of the conversation. And then we've got the response endpoint. So this actually goes through and generates the responses within the conversation. So that's the main idea. These do use the latest OpenAI endpoints, which is really great because we do this in a way that is maximizing context window and minimizing the use of tokens. We've got our settings, we've got our logs, and the rest of it. So that's a bit of a run through to give you an idea. We're really happy to answer any questions you might have and also to take any feedback. This is a challenging template to build and it's a challenging area to work in, but it's also one of the more interesting, rewarding, and timely aspects of technology right now. And as a Bubble developer, this app is a really, really great base for anything you might be doing in the AI space, whether it's learning to work with the OpenAI APIs, whether it's building a chat experience, whether it's, I guess, a stub of other things like maybe content generation, maybe processing documents within your particular industry, whatever it might be, building a SaaS product, building a subscription following, creating an internal RAG and knowledge base environment for your team or your organization. So there are so many ways that this could be used. And one of the huge advantages that this has over working with ChatGPT natively or Gemini or anything like that is that once you subscribe to the app, it's about $32 a month to pay for the basic Bubble plan at this point in time. And then the only other real cost is just OpenAI API usage. So you might have a RAG with 10 users for $32 plus $10 a month or $20 a month. So call it 50, and let's say you had 10 users on ChatGPT, that could be $300, $400. So there's a huge economic advantage to using this. There's also a really big advantage in terms of governance. So you can see every chat, you can see what users are typing in, you can see if they're putting confidential client information into the chat, and then you can handle that. And you can't do that so easily with some of the other options out there. So thank you. Good luck. We're really happy to help. We'd really love to hear how you're working with our template and support you to do what you want to do. Thanks for listening.